That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it's harder and harder to resist.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to Hardcore Horror with Mark and Bridget.
Hey, Bridget, what's going on?
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Here we are. We're getting
How's it
into
going?
the end of September, getting close to October. It's going pretty good. We're getting close to the spooky season. What's going on over there? So, yeah, you getting ready, huh? All right. So we got a guest tonight. Who do we have?
We got Reaper with Underground Productions. Yeah, I was on his podcast a few weeks ago. He's a busy guy, man. Got a lot of really cool shit happening, so he's gonna be fun to talk to.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, great. All right. Look forward to talking to him. Before we get to that, we'll talk about a few little things here. A few little things. So, there, movie-wise, See No Evil came out recently. Now, I haven't seen it yet, but now I hear people talking about it, and they say it's really good. But what I hear mostly is they say the ending has changed from the original foreign version, that came out a couple years ago. So my thing is, I kind of knew this was going to happen because it's like, when they do American remakes with a lot of these movies, sometimes they make it, I don't know, too happy, or the ending is always just a little bit more positive for some reason. It's just not as nihilistic as some of these movies. When you take like a movie like Inside, and like how they changed the ending so much that it just, to me, kind of ruined the feeling of the movie. So I'm kind of worried that's kind of going to be the same thing that happens here. I mean, I guess it's fine. It is what it is. We still have the original, but I don't know. I just don't understand really why American audiences, or not American audiences, because they're not the one making the movies, but the companies have to do this for American audiences. And do you think it's like something that we have to have? Like, can America not handle like negative or maybe sort of dismal gray endings? Does it have to be more positive all the time? I mean, we have plenty of positive movies. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, we don't want everything to be bleak and just negative and nihilistic. But at the same time, it's okay for some of these movies to happen, especially when that makes them the more shocking. Like if you look at the movie like The Mist, that ending, that's what really makes it kind of stand out, and what people are still talking about it to this day is because that ending was pretty messed up. So, like, why do you think that America kind of has this tendency, at least the studios think that their audiences don't want to see that sort of stuff?
I know, and it's funny because they're horror movies, so they don't have to live happily ever after the end. It kind of takes away the horror from it. It might be that because some people have a hard time, getting back from that dark place. Movies will take you to a very dark place sometimes. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have that problem, but I don't know. But that's a very good point, though, because you're absolutely right. Is that a lot of the times when they do make an American version, they do change it, and they do change the end where it's like they all live happily ever after. So yeah, I'm curious to see this one. I've heard good things about it. I've heard the acting's really great in it too, but the ending,
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I haven't seen it yet, so stay tuned.
Well, yeah, that dark place. I mean, for the first Speak No Evil, the original foreign film, I mean, it definitely takes you to the dark place and stays there. So there is that. But it makes me wonder, when you think about stuff like that, and we see some of these foreign films, and then we see the American versions of them. Like, what do you think about like American movies? Like, sometimes, like, are they just so watered down and so like maybe cut up by the studio, or maybe led by the studio, that it's not even the original version or vision? Or do you think like there could be a lot of movies out there that would be totally different if they kind of had freedom to really kind of do it the way they want to do it?
I know, and I agree with you 100%. I think about that all the time, where watched a movie recently that was an unrated, uncut version. And the director comes on first thing is like, hey, if you're watching this, that means you've bought the uncut, unrated version. And this is how I wanted the movie to be. But, what typically happens in Hollywood, it gets watered down. And they take a lot of that really raw stuff out of it. I don't know why that is. Maybe Americans can't handle it. I don't know. But I don't feel that way, but then again, I'm a huge horror person too, so I'm very desensitized.
Right. Well, in America, we have this thing called the MPAA, and that's really the thing that you have to kind of go through to get like a rating, and so that's kind of where it kind of gets cut up. And they've been notoriously been hard on horror movies in general, I think, but because even Scream had some little scenes cut out. I hear now that they're doing a Blu-ray with A Nightmare on Elm Street, where there's going to be a couple extra little scenes where it got cut. I've never even seen that version, but got cut from the censors. So I think that might be the problem. Is the MPAA is really kind of censoring and dictating stuff, and they know it's not going to fly through with that. Whereas maybe some of the other countries that are making movies, they don't have that. They might have their own version of it, but it's probably not as strict. Maybe.
So for people that don't know anything about making movies, explain what MPAA is.
Well, MPAA is the Motion Picture Association of America or whatever. It's the board, essentially the board that watches the movies and determines what kind of rating they get. And so if you want a rating, if you want to get it into theaters, you pretty much have to have a rating, right? I mean, there's a few that slip through unrated, but that's pretty rare. So if you want to go to theaters, you have to have a G, a PG, PG-13, R. Pretty much that's what are you going to have. I mean, you could go NC-17, but you're probably not going to get in most theaters with that. But anyway, you have to have a rating. So in order to get that rating, then you have to submit it to the MPAA. When they do that, well, then that's when they go, okay, you got to cut this, this, and this, or you're going to get an X, A lot of movies start with X's, and they go, okay, we're going to cut some of this stuff down. And so they end up, NC-17 sometimes, or finally get an R. So they do that to all the movies across the board that have to get a rating.
I bet that the president of the board is a big fat prude. They're all probably a bunch of prudes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and obviously there's some things that they'll let slip through in one movie that they want in another for different reasons, and so it's just kind of give and take, I guess. But I think that's where a lot of it lies. Is these people they don't want their film to not get a rating, that's going to get them in theaters because they're not going to make any money otherwise from that method of recouping money, from the movie. So, I think that's what it is. But I don't know. That is a tricky situation with American cinema. Moving on, though. So, there's some trailers that dropped. A few of them. We'll talk about a couple. Salem's Lot trailer. Did you see that one?
I did see it. I did.
Yeah.
So it looks like, to me it looks like it's good, but I can't help but to still be a little bit worried about it because Salem's Lot is that is a classic, one of my favorite movies still to this day. So I'm a little bit nervous when they do a remake because we all know how most of the remakes turn out. So, but it does look good to me. Well, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it doesn't give too much away. Obviously, you don't see the big bad and everything in it anyway in the trailer. So, you see a few little things that look memorable from the original and everything. So, I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. I guess I'm a little worried about it because it was supposed to be a theatrical release, and then they just dropped it on Max. So that
I noticed that.
That to me says, well, they probably don't think it's going to be worthy of making a lot of money at the box office. So I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Maybe they just want it to be a good draw to get people into Max, but I don't know. That's not usually the way it goes. Usually, if they think a movie's really good, they throw it out in theaters first. So that
Yep.
that could be, yeah. We'll just have to watch it and see. But I don't. I mean, it looks okay, like you said. I'm not like, oh my god, this trailer looks crap. But at the same time, there are enough to give you a little bit of hesitation about it. And up
Yeah.
next was Wolfman dropped a trailer. Now that one was supposed to come out this year. It's not coming out this year, and it's coming out next year now. But what do you think about that one?
I mean, it looked kind of boring to me. I can't help it, but I'm not a huge fan of like werewolf movies. I mean, it looked
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
boring to me.
Really? You don't like the
Yeah,
Howling? You
it
don't like
looked
the
a little.
Howling, American Werewolf?
Yes, I like. There's a very few of them. American Werewolf in London.
Ginger Snaps.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Ginger Snaps. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, look how many werewolf movies there are. There's a handful of them that I like, but that one didn't look too interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a complete great draw with the trailer, but I mean, the only thing we got the guy Lee Wanell. He's the guy who did The Invisible Man, which I thought turned out pretty good. That was a pretty good remake. You know, he's the guy who helped with he wrote Saw and he starred in Saw and all that. So he knows his horror. So I think he's a good filmmaker. So it might just be a teaser. This one it might not be alluding to all the good stuff. You know. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But I am kind of curious about it because again, I did think his take on the Invisible Man was pretty decent. Yeah. So moving on, I'll move on to video games real quick. I know that's not your thing, but I'll talk a little bit about Castlevania. I think I've talked about Castlevania before. That's actually my favorite video games from growing up. I played Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, and then Super and all that. So that was my favorite kind of games. They're kind of having a little bit of resurgence recently because they just released a new kind of compilation on Switch and I think other platforms where it's like all their Game Boy DS games that they had. I think they had like 3 or 4 of those. So they kind of put all those together that you can buy it as a package and play all those. They already did that with like all of the other old games and the Game Boy games and everything. So this is pretty cool. But so not only did that happen, but they also came out with a Dead by Daylight, which I've talked about that game a while back. But now Castlevania is a part of that as well, where you can play as Dracula or a Belmont. That's pretty cool. And another game there's another one that this has been out a little while, but it's kind of new to me. It's called Dead Cells, and they have a version of it that's Castlevania based as well. It's really fun. I'm playing it now, and I'm addicted to it. It's like so fun. You can play as a lot of the characters from the Castlevania series. You fight against Dracula and everything. There's a lot of the people that you fought against from a lot of the other games as well. So it's a very cool homage to the game. But the gameplay is really good. If you like 2D side scroller kind of stuff, which I do because I'm old school, it's really fun. There's a lot of playability to it. Like go back and replay the levels a lot, and it's just really fun. So I do. If you're a fan of Castlevania, check all that stuff out because I know a lot of people are that like horror because if you're old school, I play it on Twitch. But Dead Cells, they're on everything.
Switch. Okay.
They're on like PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're on like PlayStation and computer and PC and everything. So all kinds of stuff like that. A few other things. Circus of the Dead obviously dropped a big Indiegogo the other day. You were talking about that on social media.
Yes. So
it dropped on Friday the 13th.
So, yeah. Friday the 13th, and they're doing it pretty damn good. They got okay. Let's hear it.
I know. So whenever you posted it, I clicked on it and I saw it. I had 2 thoughts. The first thought was, "Wow, that's awesome! These guys are cool." The first one was great. That's awesome. That's a lot. That's crazy because they got like almost double, like within less than 24 hours, right? That was my first thought. My second thought was, "Fuck you, fuck you guys, damn, dude, damn." Like seriously, what the hell? Like I get it. I know they got a lot of connections.
I'm telling you one thing.
The first movie was so good. That's why it's. But
yeah. Bloody
What
Bill
now?
is a marketing genius. Bloody Bill is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's like
he knows,
they've
he's,
like
oh
there's
my
no telling
God.
how much. No telling how much they're going to end up with by the time it's over with. I mean, I can just remember struggling to get 3,000. Like, oh my God, I don't think we're going to get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm just like, fuck you guys. Damn, dude. Good job.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't have anything else. I assume you got something, right? You got something you want to bring up, I assume. You're doing some
Yes.
haunted houses, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Yes, like, haunts aren't really my thing. However,
Mm-hmm.
I work a lot of horror conventions because I have my little three-legged circus oddities. We sell a lot of horror movie merchandise, a lot of gothic decor, a lot of metaphysical, like a lot of fun things, oddities, just a lot of fun things. And this year, I am set up in the gift shop at Slaughterhouse in Nashville. And
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse is the longest running haunt in Nashville. By far, out of all the haunts I've ever been to, by far the best one. And it's connected to Full Moon Cineplex and Lone Wolf Tattoo. So it's ran by Ben and Stacy Dixon. They do the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival every year. So they really, really great group of people, and it's such a great opportunity. So far, we opened Friday the 13th. So I'll be there every weekend. Man, if you are in Nashville, stop by Slaughterhouse, go through the haunt, tail end. You'll get dumped out in the gift shop. Come and say hello and buy some merch.
Nice.
So
nice.
yeah, so that's really fun. First time I've ever done this. So so far I'm having a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun doing it.
Very
Also,
cool.
I do have
I've been to that
one
haunted
more
house.
thing coming up. Well,
What's that?
one more thing coming up. I just want to throw it out there. I just signed up for Memphis MonsterCon. Memphis MonsterCon, November the 9th and 10th. So
Nice.
come by and see me if you're in the Tennessee Memphis area, man. Come by and see us. They've got a pretty good celebrity list going, and their vendor booths are completely full now. So it should be a pretty fun event.
All right. Nice. Very cool. All right. So that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, that's it for me. Let's talk about movies.
Let's talk about the movies. All right. What have you been watching?
So I have a very, very small list this go around, but I do have some pretty good ones in there. I did a rewatch of the movie The Voices.
The Voices, yes.
From 2014 with Ryan Reynolds. Yes. Totally underrated dark comedy. Oh my gosh. It's about a factory worker who suffers from schizophrenia. And Ryan Reynolds, holy shit, what a great actor. I've never been like a huge Ryan Reynolds fan, but he blew me away in this one. He did great in it because it's funny because you kind of I love his character and I wanted him to do good. And it's pretty crazy. And it's a really good balance between like horror and drama, I feel like. But it's a great movie. No one ever talks about it. Yeah, I randomly ran across it several years ago, and so it'd been a while since I'd seen it. So I did a rewatch, and I'm glad I did because it's really good, really good. So if you haven't seen it, check out The Voices. Next up was a movie called The Fourth Floor. I feel like you had this on your list. Yeah, did you have this on your list or something? I'm like, I don't know how I found this.
Right. Yes, that's right. I watched
Did you have
it
it on
last
your
time.
list?
Yeah. But,
Okay, that's where I come up with it then. So The Fourth Floor. How have I never seen this movie before? It came out in 1999.
Yeah, I know.
Juliette Lewis. I was surprised. I absolutely loved it. It kind of had me on the edge of my seat the entire movie. I just didn't realize I'm like, how the hell have I never seen it? I'd never even heard of it. So thank you for recommending that one. That was a really good one.
Sure. No problem.
Next up was a movie that was recommended by Michael T. Flynn called Late Fee.
Late Fees, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know you said you had seen a while ago. Did you do a rewatch on it?
I haven't yet. No, I did. I have watched it though. Yes, it had been just a little bit, but I do remember watching it. But I know I haven't. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I will.
Okay, so
Did you like it?
it's a from two. Yeah, I did like it. It's from 2009. You know, it's a lower budget movie. It's an anthology film. It's about pretty much about a couple that goes to a video store on Halloween to rent the most extreme, scariest horror movies. And so
Mhm.
the movie, the anthology is the movies that they're watching. It's got some pretty funny moments in it. I tell you,
Mhm.
my favorite thing about this, I can't believe I'm gonna admit this, but the very first little short they have, the chick, the prostitute, oh my god, she was fucking smoking hot. When she started like pulling her panties down, I was like, look at them legs. Oh my god. She was the best part about the whole movie, and she also plays in the second one too. But yeah, it's fun. It's another fun dark comedy.
Right.
Let's see, what else do I have on here? I just went and saw Beetlejuice, and I'm pretty sure that you recently saw it too, right?
I sure did. Yep, sure did. Saw
Well,
that in
let's talk
theaters.
about it. Yeah, let's talk about it because I am hearing like mixed feelings about it. A good 50-50. Like half the people I've talked to loved it. The other half, like, a little
Mhm.
disappointed. So,
Sure, sure.
so I'm curious to find out what you thought about it. And I'll tell you, and you know what? I did enjoy it. I really liked it. There was some parts of it that I didn't care too much for. It was a little slow to start, I felt like. So there were some parts of it that I loved, parts of it not so much.
Hmm.
So the beginning of it was a little slow to start, I felt like. The like the scene with Winona Ryder, you know, she's talking about her ghost show. I thought that was kind of strange. You know, it was a little strange, a little slow to start, but it did pick up, and I did end up loving the storyline because I felt like it tied in very well with the original.
Hmm.
It wasn't the original.
No.
Obviously, love the original. Always love that. But I do think some things they could have changed a little bit. And the one scene I felt like went on forever was at the end when Lydia and Beetlejuice are dancing and they start floating
Hmm.
and I think he's singing to her something. Oh my god, I was like, is this 20 minutes long? Like, you know how I am about singing. I'm just like, the
Yes.
board's just shouting me. But I
Yeah.
was like, they could have cut that whole shit out. But yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people say that they felt like there was too many different storylines, and that they didn't intertwine very well together. I didn't feel that way, but I have heard at least three different people say that. Um, I've also heard two people say that they felt like it was too much CGI. Um,
Yeah.
I do. Yep. I mean, I can see that because the original Beetlejuice is known for like all their awesome practical effects. But but overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was
Also,
really good. I felt like that they did a great job on it, on tying the original story in.
mhm.
What about you? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, there was some CGI in the original too, though. So I mean, that's fine. I liked it. I did like it. I think it's good nostalgia. I mean, I thought it was cute and it was fun. You could pick it apart and say, yeah, there's. I mean, was there too many plots? I don't know about that. I think that like maybe there was like the subplot of the villain that really kind of was a little anticlimactic at the end. There wasn't a whole lot of showdown there for that sort of stuff, but it worked and it was fine. I mean, for a character that they didn't bring back because of uh, issues that he has,
Oh, you must be talking about the dad. Are you
they
talking about the
spent
dad?
a whole lot of time on the dad to not,
To
to be
not
like
show him.
to not, he's not a part of the story, but he's definitely the main focus of a part of the story. So there's that. But no, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I kind of lament that they didn't do one earlier. I wish they kind of did one in the 90s,
Yeah.
back when they were talking about it. I think, I mean, obviously everybody did great, but, Keaton's getting up there, man. And so I really wish they kind of would have done maybe one or two back then and kind of really just went for it. But no, it was fun to see the characters back again. I thought everybody worked really, really good in it and everything. So it was just fun. It's nowhere near as good as the original, but I mean, what do you really expect? I mean, it's really just more for nostalgia, I think, just for people who love the original. But no, I didn't have really a problem with it. It definitely, again, a little anticlimactic with that villain situation, but it was still fun. Still fun.
Yeah, I thought so too. So, well, that's all I have on my list. I bet you've got a pretty good one.
Okay, I got a few. I'll run through these real quick.
Okay.
Up first was a little movie called The Deliverance.
Okay.
Now this one just dropped a few weeks ago on Netflix. Do you know the story?
It's not the Deliverance with the banjo player.
It's not Deliverance. It's the Deliverance. You got to put that "the" in front of it.
Ah, the Deliverance. Get it straight, Bridget.
Yes.
The Deliverance. Okay, so I don't think I know about this one. So tell me about it.
So this one is based on, quote unquote, a true story, ghost story, or possession story, however you want to swing it. That happened in Gary, Indiana. Quite a few years back. So I don't know if you know that much about that story. I actually when I lived in Indiana for the short time I lived there, I lived a couple of towns down from Gary, Indiana. I don't know if you know much about that place. It's pretty run down these days, but so anyway, the story was about this family, this mother and her kids, and living in this house, and all these kind of strange things were happening inside the house, and apparently the son walked up across, like scaled up a wall like a spider, like Spider-Man or something. And there's all this documented stuff, and I think one of the person was like a caseworker, another one was a cop and stuff. So there's actually a documentary. Zach Baggins bought the house apparently and burnt it down because it was so evil. But there's a documentary that you can watch. It's called Demon House.
Okay, so I've seen that. I was wondering because when you were saying Gary, Indiana, that's what I was thinking. I didn't realize it was the same story. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So this is a narrative story of that. I mean, they definitely take some liberties with it, I think, but I mean, it was pretty good. It was a pretty decent movie overall. Glenn Close is in there. Yeah, it's well acted and pretty good movie. I liked it pretty good. I mean, it's not scary really, and there's a lot more to it. Like if you're going in for horror itself, you might be disappointed because it's definitely more of a drama, especially like the first two halves of it is drama more than it is horror. It gets into the horror later on, but yeah, it's a pretty good movie though. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. So did you watch Demon House?
Yeah, I've seen Demon House back quite a while ago. Yeah.
I didn't like. I remember not liking that movie, but I'm not a big. I think the whole Ghost Hunters. I think it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
it's every time they're on camera. Every single time they're like, "Bruh, I got chill bumps on my arms."
Yeah, and I didn't even really know who Zach Baggins was, to be honest. I mean, I mean, obviously I do now, but I didn't even know who he was when I watched that movie because I don't watch that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, definitely, even in that documentary, it still has that vibe, doesn't it? The Ghost Hunter vibe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yes, 100%. I never watched it because I think it's a little bogus. Maybe some things are real, but he's got a huge following. But I completely forgot that he burned the house down. That's pretty crazy.
He burned it down or had it destroyed. Something happened there where he's like, yeah, it's too hard. It's too evil. It's too evil. So,
yeah, I think that was more for a little PA.
Yeah.
Okay, so So you recommend it then? Did you recommend this movie then? You said if it's more of a drama, if you're looking for the horror, that's not really what you want to watch.
Yeah, I'd say if you're up for like a drama with a little bit of evil possession kind of stuff, it might be up your alley. But if you're just looking for straight horror, nah, you wouldn't probably be into this one.
Okay.
All right, up next, hashtag AMFAD, hashtag MFAD, which means all my friends are dead. It's a little slasher movie that came out pretty recently. It's okay. Here's my problem with some current slashers and stuff. Look, I know 80s teenagers in the movies were annoying, but damn, are these people in these new movies, slashers, annoying. It's like, I want all of them to die anyway, you know? So it's like, God,
Yeah.
why? Why are they
They don't have as much sex either, do they? They need to have more sex.
They definitely need to have more sex. So, I mean, as a slasher, it was an okay movie. It's fine. It's not too bad. The kills were fine. But the people were just like, oh my God, kill everyone of them real quick. Let's get this over with. That kind of deal. Yeah. Up next was Attack of the Corn Zombies. Now, you had mentioned that one last time and recommended it. And I was like, I don't know, zombies. I'm not too big into zombies. But it was actually pretty cool. I did enjoy it. It was pretty fun and it had some good fun and funny moments in it. Lynn Lowry's in it. You know, she's been in a few of my movies. So I was like, oh, there's Lynn. So that was pretty cool. So I did it. I did enjoy it. Definitely worth it checking out. We're going to talk more about that later on when we talk to Reaper, I think, aren't we? For sure. But that's definitely a movie that people can watch on YouTube right now. Up next was Founders Day, and that's a slasher movie. That's a newer slasher movie. It was pretty good. I liked it. The people weren't as obnoxious in this one as they were in AmFad. So pretty good movie. This one's on Tubi, I believe, or no, maybe it's on Screambox. It's on Screambox or
Okay,
Tubi.
Founders Day.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Up next is Killers from 1996.
Killers.
Yeah, Odessa and Kyle James were just your average American boys until the night they went upstairs and killed their parents in cold blood and smiled. And then, so they got these killers, and then they escape and they kind of seek refuge with his family. But turns out the family's they got some secrets of their own. Pretty decent little movie. I never heard of it before, actually, but pretty decent.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen it. So you recommend watching it then?
It's worth a watch. I think. Yeah, it gets a little wild at the end. Not a lot of gore or anything like that, really. But yeah, it's got enough twists in it to enjoy. I think I liked it.
Okay.
Up next, 2023, In the Fire. This is that movie that came out not too long ago. It's got Amber Heard in it. I think this is her last movie or the last one she's done thus far. It's billed as a horror movie, but I don't think it really is a horror movie. So I didn't really care for it, to be honest. It's a woman travels to a remote plantation to take care of a disturbed boy who has inexplicable abilities. She ignites a war of science versus religion in the local priest who believes the boy is possessed by the devil. I mean, other than the boy possession or powers part, that's really the only horrific part of it. But it's not really a horror movie, I wouldn't think. Not really. I mean, I didn't care too much for it.
More of a drama, maybe?
It's more of a drama, and I mean, it does have the aspect of the supernatural, I guess, to a degree to make it horror, quote unquote, but it just wasn't enough to draw me in and make me enjoy it. Up next was The Evil Within. Have you seen this movie?
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. So I haven't seen it since it first come out.
Oh, yeah?
But it's great. I thought it was great. Sleep paralysis, right? Isn't that kind of what it is? Sleep paralysis?
Yeah, kind of like that. So this is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie. And it's been on my list for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to watching it. So this is the first time I ever watched it. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Now, do you know the backstory about this movie?
No. Oh, what's up?
So apparently the director, I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess he self-financed a lot of it, like put like millions of dollars into it. But it took him 15 years to make this movie. I don't know exactly what that entails, exactly, but like I'm saying, like they were filming apparently for like 15 years. Matter of fact, it wasn't even finished when he died. He died in 2015. It didn't get put out till 2017. So I don't know what happened. I mean, it's a good movie. It was well made. So, but I don't know what took so long. I don't know if they were just filming like a few scenes here and there a year.
15 years is, yeah, but 15 years is a long
It's a long time
for
It's a
a
long time.
movie.
That's why-
I have a movie coming out that's we filmed 3 years ago, and it's going to premiere next month. And I'm like, that 3 years felt to me like it took forever. So
Right.
15 years,
But-
and that's really sad that the director died before it came out. That's so sad.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to really enjoy it. But I don't know what the details is with all that. But it is interesting that it took so long. And I don't know. Everybody in the movie didn't seem like they aged that much. So I don't know if they were filming for the whole but that's what it says. It says it took 15 years to complete. So that to me sounds like they started filming 15 years and then it took them that long to really get it in the can. So that's crazy. Anyway, moving on.
Crazy.
Up next, Dear David. That was a movie came out last year, I think. It's about something about this guy who did some TikTok or something saying his house was haunted, and I don't know. It tries to sound like a creepy pasta or something. I don't know. It was okay. I didn't love it. Didn't think it was that great. Up next was a rewatch of 13 Ghosts. The one with Matthew Lillard. You like that movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
Well, yeah, it was in the 90s. But, they don't really talk about that movie that much when you talk about remakes surpassing the original. But I do think I think the remake of that one is better than the original. I mean, the William Castle. Not that the William Castle's not great, for its invention with the glasses and stuff. But, I mean, this one, I really like this one. I do. They're supposed to be making a TV show out of it. So, obviously, some people like it.
Yeah.
Up next was Tim. This one came out last year, I think. It's it's basically like a Megan ripoff. It's just about like androids going wrong in the house, kind of that stuff. I mean, it was decent. It was not too bad, but if you watch the trailer, it's pretty much exactly the way you think it's going to be. Up next was a little film on Screenbox called Creeping Death. This was a fun little Halloween movie that came out not too long ago. It's pretty decent little movie. I would recommend it for Halloween vibes. Up next was from the 60s, a movie called Orgy of the Dead. And now this
Orgy of the Dead. I have not seen it. So what's this about?
I want to say this is written by Ed Wood, I think. I think it's written by Ed Wood, and it kind of feels like it is. It's not. It's not even a damn movie. I don't think. It's more like a topless dancing showcase. Oh. It's really weird. So it's like these couple, right? They get in a car crash, and when they come to, like these people take them hostage and basically force them to watch all these girls dancing naked. But like they do it individually. Yeah,
wow.
But so you got like the guy. The guy was actually in Plan 9 from outer space. And you got the guy, and then the girl's kind of an Elvira, Elvira kind of deal. And they're like bringing out all these girls, and they're like dancing topless and stuff. And it's strange. Like, I don't know. I don't really think it's a movie.
It sounds strange.
But it is. Like, it's worth a watch because it's just so weird. But anyway, yeah, it's strange.
If you like fun bags, go check it out.
Fun bags up there. Yes, definitely. A lot of those in that one. Up next was a rewatch of Along Came the Devil. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah. It's been that come out a few years ago, didn't it?
It was a few years ago. It's quite a few. Yeah.
Okay.
A few because they did a sequel too and all that. I just rewatched it again. Sydney Sweeney's in there, because we, back then we didn't really know who she was, but now she's, kind of blown up and did Immaculate and stuff. So I went back and rewatched it. She does pretty good in it. She, she's the evil part of it, I guess you would say. But the only thing I didn't really like about it, and I remembered it after it was over, was the ending. It's kind of a very quick ending without a lot of resolution. I mean, I understand it, but it's like very boom kind of a deal with the ending. So I think that's why first time I saw it, I'm like, what the hell? What the hell
It's
is
like they
this?
ran out of time or something, right?
Yeah, because they're like, okay, this is it. I mean, they they imply what happened, but there's not really a whole lot of resolution to it. I don't feel like, but it's decent, pretty decent movie. Up next was Tremors 1 through 4. Um,
1 through 4. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So now, are you a fan of Tremors at all? Do you like those kind of movies?
So I could probably quote the first one word for word. It
Yeah.
was one of those movies my brother and I would just watch all the damn time. But it's crazy. I've never seen any of the other ones.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't really. It's kind of weird. I don't hate the franchise, but I don't. It doesn't really do too much for me, to be honest. As a whole, yes, the first one is definitely the best, but even it is like, it's it's not really horror. I mean, it's not scary.
It's I never thought it was horror. Like when I watched it as a kid, I don't know, we watched it all the time.
Yeah,
But later on in life, as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's classified as a horror movie. But to me, it's not horror either. It's more of a,
you're right.
I don't know, comedy, I guess.
Right, but it's not like
Um,
super. To me, it's not like super laugh out loud funny either. It's not like Tucker and Dale to me. Like there are some funny stuff in it, but it's just not like super funny, that kind of deal. So I don't know. And then every one of them just kind of goes from there. And it's like, I mean, they're okay. Like I don't hate them or nothing like that. I just don't love them. Maybe because they have a lot of
yeah.
sequels. That I did 4, but there's like 5, 6, 7 maybe of those.
No shit.
Six
There's
or
that
seven.
many.
Yeah, there's 6 or 7
I
of them.
mean, somebody must love them. They just keep
Yeah,
on putting them
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, they got to be doing good for somebody, but I don't know. It's just not. Again, it's just not really my thing.
So
Maybe
the
I'm just.
the first one too is the cast. You've got a solid cast in the
Yeah.
first one. What about the others? Is there any big names or great actors
So two of those
in any
from
of
the first
those?
one are back, especially Michael Gross. He's in like almost all of them. I think he maybe is in all of them. I think he
Okay.
actually is in every one.
Okay.
But and the other guy, the
Okay.
guy who was with Kevin Bacon in the first one, he came back in the second
Hmm.
one too. But Kevin was only in the first one.
Okay.
And Reba, they weren't in any of the other
Okay.
ones at all. But I mean,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they just kind of up the different variations of the tremors and stuff, and they just do different or Grapazoid. They just do different versions of them as they go along. But I mean, they're okay. They're not. They're fun to just like kind of sit back and have on. I think, but they're not like again, they're not super funny or super fun. Like oh my god, so great. Or again, once you get that first one established, it kind of is the same thing, rinse and repeat, all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't hate them at all, but I just don't love them at all. Um, and the last thing I watched was The Last Circus.
I've never seen this. I saw you posted that on Slasher, and I don't even think I've even heard of it. So,
So you,
it's a clown movie that I haven't seen.
you gotta
So, is it
you got
good?
you gotta check this movie out. This movie's pretty cool. I liked it. Yes, I really
Oh,
did.
good. Okay.
So it says body horror. I mean, it's not like straight through horror. It's not like a straight up horror. I mean, there is horror in it for sure. But yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. It's a Spanish movie, so it's not subtitles. People, if you don't like subtitles, you're not gonna watch it, I guess. But until the American comes and waters it down. But yeah, it's pretty good. Man. It's
It's
like
funny.
so you got this clown, the sad clown. He comes and he joins this group, the circus. And so you got this guy, this clown, and there's another clown guy, and he's got this girl who's this beautiful girl. She's just really beautiful. And the sad clown is just smitten with her immediately. He just really likes her. Well, the clown that's her boyfriend, he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of mean to her, and all this shit. So the sad clown, just kind of like wanting to kind of help her out and get her away from him and everything. And there's all this other stuff with the other people inside the circus stuff too. But so it kind of like she starts hanging out with the sad clown. She starts hanging out with him, and then they kind of have a bond and everything. But the other guy kind of gets wind of it, and he's pretty jealous, and he gets really mad, and he starts finding out stuff, and yeah, it comes to the showdown where like he really just kind of goes after him, and then the sad clown. I don't want to give everything away, but anyway, somebody gets beaten to a bloody pulp, and it's pretty brutal, but still alive and comes back. And there's then like the other guy just goes crazy and like starts defacing himself, and it's really good though. I don't want to give too much away, but go watch it. It's on Tubi or it's on Hulu as well, but it's definitely worth a watch. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
Sounds like some good, fun clown drama.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like they're not all clowns. It's the circus, so there's all different kinds of stuff in there. So I mean, it's just the two clowns really, but yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well made. And then that's all I got. So unless you got anything else, let's go talk to Reaper.
One thing that I didn't mention, I can't believe I didn't even mention this. So I've been watching a show that has been on my list forever. That I think you watched it when it first came out. It's been on my list forever. Finally started watching it. I think I'm on maybe the third episode. Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show.
I am sucked in. I'm like, when the plane crashes, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. So I'm on the third episode right now. So it's so far, and I'm loving it.
I mean, to be honest with you, for a show that the first season doesn't really tell you much of anything, to be honest, but it gives you enough to want to know where it's going. But then that second season, they start revealing some of the shit, and you're like, oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. Yes, definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got though. If you don't have anything else, you want to talk to Reaper?
Yeah, let's bring him on.
All right, cool.
What's up, everybody? Tonight we've got a very special guest. We've got Reaper with Underground Productions. What's up, Reaper?
Hey, Reaper.
Keeping it spooky.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So you like myself, you're got to be like one of the busiest people like I've ever known. So you're
insane
podcaster. And how many podcasts do you have?
4.
I was thinking it was 5. Okay, that's a lot. So you're a podcaster. You're an actor.
Yes.
You're also a drummer. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
A drummer, and you're also I know you work horror conventions because that's where we met, and then you also do some modeling too.
I do. I do a lot of horror photography, especially around spooky season, because in our business, when it comes to like doing horror modeling stuff, there are a lot of alternative model magazines that are always looking for unique spooky modeling. So I'm actually getting ready to do a good set for this October, so I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
Oh,
You do 4 podcasts.
We talked about that at all earlier.
You do 4 podcasts now. How different are they? Like what's
they're
the
very different.
Yeah.
So obviously I started 3 years ago with Reaper's Underground when I got asked by this one media network online that was looking for a new show to add to their lineup. And it was real funny because they were interviewing me because of the band I was in at the time, Black Tar Superstar. And I was promoting the new album. And afterwards they're like, hey, you're pretty funny, man. Would you like to do your own show? I was like, okay. I've never done one, but it might be kind of fun. So the first thing I thought of was, if I'm going to do a show, it's going to highlight underground entertainment. So that's underground bands, signed, unsigned, doesn't matter. Indie horror, actors, actresses, directors. I've done sideshow performers, models, you name it. So anything that I find that is something I feel like everybody should know, and to help them kind of like branch out and find their audience. Because I remember being that 20-something year old drummer in his band trying to get somewhere, and we didn't have all these internet tools. So I started Reapers Underground. That built up. And then I branched into an idea to do a show on metal because that's like one of my favorite loves. So we do something called Tracks of the Damned, where we do top lists of the top 10 best death metal bands, black metal bands, doom metal bands, metal 80s, 90s, 70s. I mean, we hit the whole 50 years history and do different things with that. Sometimes we do album reviews as well. Then I do a show called Carnage and Reaper's Backyard Horror Barbecue, where we highlight a lot of the best of indie horror films that are out there. People probably don't know about them. They're like hidden gems. So we're like, everybody does, Freddy, Jason, and Michael, all that stuff. Sure. Why there needs to be a show that highlights indie horror? Because honestly, I think they're better. Mainstream sucks.
Yes. Well, I think we all have that in common. We all feel the same way.
Very much.
That was one of the first things that you and I had talked about.
Yep.
And Mike probably doesn't know this, but so Riff, he done our special effects. He was hollering. He's like, Bridget, come over here. So we're at the table. We just started chatting, and I was like, "What's your phone number? I'm going to send you a link to Clownin'." Yeah. So anyways, but that's how we started talking. And then it just opened up this door to huge conversations about indie horror. I love it. Love it.
Well, not to mention, I mean, the indie horror community is a very small world. We know so many of the same people, and it's awesome. And it's like, I'd never met you before, but here we are. We're friends. We're having a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not awkward. And that's one of the things I love about the indie horror community in general. Nashville was just fucking amazing.
See, I thought that you were local here, but you're not. You're in Nebraska, right?
That's right.
Nebraska. I don't know why I'm thinking. Okay, I'm right. Okay. That's why I was like, oh, you're not even close. That is so awesome. Yeah.
What's the scene like up in Nebraska for horror?
Oh, let me tell you, Midwest is where all of the magic happens. There are so many indie horror productions that come out of Illinois, especially the southern tip. I work with Acrostar Films a lot. As a matter of fact, I just got done doing the sequel to Attack of the Corn Zombies called Return to the Corn Zombies. They also have a bunch of other films coming out. It's going to be next year now because, I mean, we're so close to the end of the year. And Nebraska, I mean, there are some directors here and they do some like very, very, very low budget stuff. I mean, for me, it's like if it's too stupid and it's so stupid that it's not fun, I don't want to do it. I can't help it. Some people like that, nothing against it. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I've done some work in Missouri. Let's see, where else have I gone? Texas horror. Unholy shit. Let me tell you. I just got done doing the trauma option film, Killer Cox. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the coop. That'll be on Trauma now when it comes out next year. We're looking at April. And let me tell you, it was just a fucking blast. Mutant chickens. I know every time at a con, I'm signing, posters and stuff for the movies I'm doing. And people see that one, they go, well, I didn't know you did porn. I'm telling you right now, think Critters and Gremlins had a illegitimate love child. That's what this film is like.
Sounds good.
It's fun. Trauma. So, I love trauma films too. I love the trashy trauma films. I absolutely love them. So I'm looking forward to that. I remember seeing some of your pictures that you were posting on social media when you were all like in your costume. I was like, oh, this looks so good.
Oh,
so good.
For the movie Grind, yeah.
Oh, it's not even Killer Cox. It was a completely different movie.
No.
Okay.
In Killer Cox, I am what I look like right now. They wanted my Reaper character as kind of like a a demon like anti-hero that fights the chickens. I don't want to give too much away, but it was really really a good time.
Yeah.
But no, the movie Grind. Oh man, that's like the biggest production I've done to date. It's got Ginger Lynn, it's got Lynn Lowry. Um, there's a Felissa Rose is also attached to it. She did a few scenes. Her and I just did a scene in Missouri for the film Down the Long River. It's the first film that I haven't done before that is a spaghetti western, but I'm a huge fan of that. Especially growing up, I love spaghetti westerns. They're brutal, they're funny, and I mean, shoot, I got to buy dope off of Felissa Rose, so who's going to say no to that?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You mentioned Lynn Lowry now, and she was in the Attack of the Corn Zombies as well. I saw
He
that.
was, yes.
Yeah, she's been in like a 3 or 4 of my movies as well, so that was really cool to see her in there.
Oh,
Did you-
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's also in Grind.
awesome. Yeah, she's doing a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Yeah,
It's great,
she is
great to see
staying
her
busy.
busy. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for her. Kudos. Kudos.
Hell yeah.
Attack of the Corn Zombies. Let's talk about that for a minute. So
Sure.
I watched that so I was on your podcast a few weeks ago, and after your
Yes.
podcast, I immediately that night went and pulled it up.
Cool.
Funny. I wasn't sure. I was like, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not. Oh man, I had a blast watching it. I laughed my ass off. The acting was pretty good in it. Acting was good. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. And so I told Mike, I was like, you've got to watch this movie. And he's like,
Yeah,
Attack of the Corn Zombies. You're like, you're not really sure what it's gonna
well,
be.
I was hesitant at first because I thought, well, zombies, it has to be really good or fun for me to really get into zombies at this point. It's so
Exactly.
oversaturated.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't know about this. So I watched it, and yes, it was like she said, it was really fun. But had she not told me that and suggested to me, I probably would have been like, I don't know, another zombie movie. But sometimes you got to find them out there. They're like a needle in the haystack, the good ones, but they're out there.
Exactly. And through Morgrot Entertainment, in which I am a co-founder of, because Reapers Underground merged with Morgrot Magazine to form that network. Uh, um, I pushed the hell out of that movie. As much success as it's gotten, you're right. Most people would have probably just like put their thumb up to it and be like, "Nah, I'm good." You know what I mean? Because we've been just beaten down by the Walking Dead universe. You know
Sure.
how that goes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is different. This is a completely new idea set in one of the greatest time periods ever. It's 1969. We have all these great classic cars. And it's a bunch of flower children, basically the survivors trying to make it through this. So it's like, if this would have happened back then, this is probably what it would have looked like. They're high and they're trying to figure this out.
I know, it just made it that much more funny, actually.
Oh, most deaf.
Um, Now you have a project coming up in Memphis.
I do.
Right, you have a movie coming up soon.
Oh,
All right,
yes.
so definitely tell us about that. Yeah.
Okay, so just so everybody out there knows that Morgrot Entertainment itself is based out of Memphis, Tennessee. That's my brother John Sorrell and principal artist Cody Gray. We got together, which is why we're known as the Unholy Three, because we do all the dark horror art, music. It's all wrapped up into one thing. And John had this idea for a script called The Chainsaw Sisters. And the first thing he did was he brought it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a great idea. By the way, we could do this ourselves. We really can. We have the means. Obviously, I've been in the business a pretty good amount of time, which I can, kind of help with producing, attracting, good talent and stuff like that. I think we've really assembled a good cast. Most people in the film are local, which I absolutely love. And there are also people that I know as well. So, and there we have some other people coming too from different states that were like, "Shit, this is a great idea." So it's kind of like a darker version of "I Spit on Your Grave." It's a revenge tale. Obviously, not focusing too much on the trauma aspect of it, but I mean, it does play into it why these two sisters end up going after these terrible guys. But there's so much more in it though, because it's being linked to a trilogy that involves well, I don't want to give too much away because I do play a sheriff in this film, but he's a sheriff with secrets, and that plays into the second one. Cody plays a serial killer. So these two sisters kind of have a brush with them in a way. But again, I don't want to give too much away, but they go on a revenge spree after their sister dies. There's three of them. So these two sisters go and embark on revenge. And they do it with wielding chainsaws. Who wouldn't love that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Have you started filming yet?
Nope. We're going to start the Indiegogo in October, which personally I think that's the best time to do it because there's been so many Indiegogo campaigns up to this point. People are like, I've been bombarded with choices. So we wanted to wait until most of those are done. And that way, we can really push it. And we've already shot a promotional trailer for that. It's been pretty successful. And then we're going to start shooting it in spring of next year.
Okay. All right. Nice. So be on the lookout for your Indiegogo. You're going to start that next month in October.
Next month, yes.
All right. That's actually smart. I feel like I have been bombarded a little bit with all these Indiegogo, and I always want to
crazy.
Donate to them. Always want to donate to them. But you're right. I mean, there's been several of them that come out, and Circus of the Dead too, of course.
Right.
That one dropped Friday the 13th. So yeah, you're right. So that was really smart. October. So are you gonna you'll post that out on social media and?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so I'll be on the lookout for that then, for sure.
Definitely. And on Facebook, the Chainsaw Sisters has its own page. So
okay, Chainsaw Sisters. Okay, got it. It's funny because I feel like when you first started telling me this, I feel like I had heard of the Chainsaw Sisters before, but maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. It just sounds like they've been around forever, but
yeah, it's a good time.
I guess I don't know who I'm getting them mixed up with. Chainsaw Sisters. Awesome. So
I was back. I
want to go
a lot of teasers.
Yeah. Okay. No, maybe that's what it is. So I do want to kick it like way back. And should have asked you this earlier, but how did all this start for you in your life? Like, how long have you been doing this, and how old were you when you realized how passionate you are about horror films and music?
Well, they kind of happened at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 48 this year. So many moons ago in short pants, when I was about 8 years old, my mom showed me Halloween, the original John Carpenter's.
Okay.
And it was back when there was no cable, it was TV, and they just happened to be showing an edited version. And it was always my mom's favorite ever since it had come out. And she's like, I know you love scary stuff. You love Dracula, Frankenstein. Like I loved all the black and whites, Universal, Hammer horror. Oh man, there was nothing better than Saturday morning watching all my cartoons, and then at noon Superhost came on and started showing all that Hammer horror. Oh, it was just glorious. That was my Saturday afternoon. So for sure. And I mean, I just instantly fell in love with it. I loved it. I loved the fact that it scared me. It seemed realistic. I loved the practicality of it. I mean, what my mom used to call camera tricks, it was like practical special effects for the most part. And I don't know. I just loved everything about it. I thought they were larger than life. I rooted for the bad guy. I always
I
loved,
think we all
you
did.
know,
I
I,
think we all
I
did. I did too.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't help it. I just couldn't help it. And I mean, not to mention, Jamie Lee Curtis. Damn. Then from there it went to like The Shining, and then Salem's Lot, all of the great Stephen Kings, and then of course the slasher genre really started to grow at that point. We had the monolith that was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Still one of my favorite films of all time. Not that I didn't enjoy the first one, because I truly did. I thought that was just horrifying. But anything that scared me, I loved it. Um, I discovered at the same time uh, Black Sabbath, the very first time I ever heard Iron Man on vinyl. And I instantly knew I wanted to be the drummer, because Bill Ward, the drummer, just laying down this fat groove, larger than life. And back when MTV actually showed videos, I actually got to see the video for like Iron Man, Paranoid, and I was just in love with it. And it was funny because my dad had bought a snare drum and a cymbal and a pair of brushes, and he had it down in the basement. He's like, "Why don't you try that out? See if you like it." That was his way of trying to see if there was any creativity going on in my brain, if I had an artist brain. And I started mimicking what I was hearing on the record. And then suddenly I had like 2 or 3 drum lessons, and it was like I had been doing it for 2 or 3 years. So fast forwarding, um, I ended up going to college for music because in high school, my band director said, you really should go to college because, you could be a extremely great professional drummer. So I did. I learned jazz and all, orchestra band, symphony band. I did all that stuff. I did marching band. Loved all that, but my love was metal. Metal was the one thing that got me through all my teen years and formidable years. So as soon as I got out of college, that's the first thing I did. I got into a metal band, and that started a romance of 35 years of being a professional death metal drummer. Which now, and since I'm much older, I'm doing doom metal because, whew, after all that time playing death metal, as fast as that stuff is, my joints just don't want to do it anymore.
What
So
did
when
you
I
call it? Boom metal? Is that what you said? Boom metal?
doom,
Doom
doom
metal.
metal, yeah,
What would be doom metal? Tell me what doom metal is.
Black Sabbath started it. It's
Okay.
very, it's slow. It's very
It's
much
more, it's
like a
dark,
funeral
kind
march.
of.
It's dark.
Yeah.
There's no screaming though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like death metal.
Yeah.
Death metal is like all screams and blast beats, which I still love. I still love to listen to it. I just can't play it anymore. Um, but and that's how I got into the podcasting. Then when I started kind of forming relationships, with directors, actors, writers, and stuff like that, they started to see something in me that I thought back when I was like 10 years old, trying to pretend like I'm Christopher Lee as Dracula. I always wanted to do that. Um, and they're like, "Do you act?" I'm like, "Well, I acted in a couple of music videos, so I sent it over." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I could see you, doing like some Karloff stuff." You know what I mean? And I have this ring. It's actually Boris Karloff as Frankenstein. He was my first
Cool.
movie monster that I truly fell in love with. I loved the philosophy of him. I read the novel, of course, all that good stuff. And I was like, well, shoot, I definitely could play a bad guy. I could be a henchman. I loved crime dramas thanks to my late grandmother. She always loved to watch the crime dramas. So I was like, I got plenty of tattoos. I mean, you need somebody that's like to play a prisoner in prison. I could do that for sure. Um, just about anything, because I always kind of dance between action films, horror films, dramas, thrillers, stuff like that. Rom-coms, no, I
No?
could not see myself doing that.
No
Uh,
rom-coms.
no, I just don't, because people think I have this constant resting bitch face, which I really don't try to do. Because I'm 6'2", 300 pounds, very wide, stocky. People tend to not look my way, you know. And I said, well, shit, I'm not going on the road like I used to as far as touring. So I'd love to give it a shot. And then when Attack of the Corn Zombies came around, I had interviewed Ann Myrna from Acrostar Films. Um, and I got into their little group on Facebook, and it said they were looking for zombies. I said, shit, there's my shot. That's my way in. Uh, they're like, we can't pay you, but,
Okay.
you know,
Gotta start
we
somewhere.
need zombies. I said, Romero, all day long. Let's go.
Yeah. So that was your first movie.
That was my first feature film. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Okay. That's fun. That's
And
awesome.
then people figured out that I could speak. And when I speak, it's funny, or it can be very serious, very bringing that kick-assery, kind of bad guy vibe. So and now I'm doing speaking roles as well. So I kind of dance back and forth from that, because I still love doing the creature features, which is why I did Grind in a full 9 foot bodysuit, which Bridget, I know you've seen that.
Hmm.
So and I felt like I was a kid on Christmas.
It was 9 feet.
Yep,
9 feet.
because
Holy shit.
the
Wow.
yeah, it's like once I got the chest piece on that went down my arms the whole 9 yards. And then let me tell you, it was hot as hell. I mean, hotter than Satan's ass. Seriously. And I put that head on, and the top of my head literally came to the middle of the mask. I could not see through the eye holes. So I think it was kind of like a defect of some sort. But I mean, I made it work. I was able to do it. I said, well, if you're taking away my eyes, my ears are still open, so direct me and I can make it happen. And I had a blast doing it, and I can't wait for everybody to see that.
That is so crazy. People don't think about that when they're watching movies. Like when the actors are wearing like these costumes, they have all this, special effects, all this makeup on, and it is so
Prosthetics. Yep.
extremely hard to it's hard to act sometimes because you're concentrating so hard on your outfit. It's a challenge. It's definitely
Oh,
not
very much so.
glamorous at all. I think you and I talked about that. It's acting is not always glamorous. People think it is. Not always. But
yeah.
so Reaper, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. And for our listeners, if they wanted to find you on social media, where are you at? Where can we find you?
Definitely on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. Every last one of them is Reapers Underground.
Okay.
You can find my actor page. My other two got shut down because Facebook's been kind of funny lately. But you can currently find me at Steve Comlody on there as well, to get any updates. And of course, Morgrot Entertainment.
Awesome. Reaper, check him out. The Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking
Yeah,
to
thanks
us.
for
You've been
coming
so
on.
much fun. Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I'm glad we could make it happen.
Yeah, come back again.
Yes.
Come back again.
Oh, I'm in. I'm ready for part 2 right now.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Later.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I'll chat with you soon.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Reaper. Man, very cool guy, huh?
Yeah.
Into
Cool.
all the
Very
horror
busy.
Aspects.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, a musician and then into the acting and horror and everything. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have kind of always had those different loves and passions and stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. You're going to be at the slaughterhouse, so people can come and check you out throughout the whole month of October.
That's
Here
right.
end of September on October. Anything else you got?
Man, that's all I got for you tonight.
All right. Very cool. Well, I guess until the next time, everybody needs to do one thing, and this is what they need to do. This right here. Do this. Stay
Hardcore.
okay. All right. That's it. That's all I got. Until next time. Later.
Until next time. Later.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore Horror with Mike and Bridget is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.